1 2 1 2. One two one two, but with the good mic. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. Apologies for the little delay getting on the mic here for the final round of the GT3 Championship here for season. Sorry, I just lost count there for a second. Season 4 here on ACC on the PlayStation 5, and we're here tonight for the first time ever at Motive at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for this finale of the season. Currently watching Tier 2 out on track right now in front of us. We have got ourselves a decider in terms of the championship tonight, but however I've got a big announcement to make. Due to a mistake obviously on my part filling in the standings, Jill Silverin isn't the championship leader anymore. I've reviewed my filling in of the standings at Donington Park and realised that he shouldn't have been actually awarded points for his position where he picked up 44 points for what was essentially a 9th place finish in terms of his Tier 2 ranking. Obviously because we merged both tiers that week as it was the F1 was on, so he didn't have a great turnout. So yeah, basically he got 9th place points, but I failed to take into account the fact that he actually finished well off of everybody else, 14 laps down. So essentially Jill Silverin is actually in 4th in the standings. So I'm going to read out the updated championship standings coming into this final round of the season with everything in play. Currently Jill Silverin still in a promotion spot as things stand anyway, but your championship leader is Spur Time on 358 points, and he's 24 points ahead of Snoopy, who sits in 2nd on 334. Then you've got Remster, who's in 3rd place on 328, followed by Jill Silverin, who is in 4th place on 322 points. So he's still in mathematical contention of the title, and he's obviously in a promotion spot, but made a bit of a mistake here in terms of what's going on. But yeah, nonetheless, a bit of a confusion there, but it is what it is. But yeah, what have we got? Yeah, Shark Azuli sits 5th on 266 points ahead of Ericode, who's 6th on 264, followed by Carl Marley in 7th on 246 points. Chris is in 8th on 236, with Nathan 9th on 232, and Fierce Miles rounding out the top 10 on 230 points. For those of you who are interested, you can check out the rest of the standings on the Discord. You'll be able to go to ACC the drivers rooms, and you'll be able to see there on the info pages. I have posted the standings on the Discord channel, so you can check that out if you want. But there we go then, guys. The qualifying session is actually over. It's Kodalungu who's taken the pole by just under 700ths of a second there. So a great lap there from Kodalungu, going quickest here at the Brickyard. We've got GJ Carlo good at putting it on P2. Jill Silverin in 3rd, with Matahimovic in 4th place. Matahimovic did a very strong job at Donington racing in the merged Tier 1 and 2 lobbying, and actually finished 4th overall. He was actually the Tier 2 winner as well in his Motive Racing ACC debut. Obviously he's raced with us on Project Cars 2 many times, but I know he's played the game a lot. I know he's raced on ACC in his own league quite a few times, but obviously in terms of here at Motive, he made his debut a couple of weeks ago at Donington Park, and here tonight at Indy he's currently lining up in P4 here for this Tier 2 race. But yeah, technically won his debut race in Tier 2 a couple of weeks ago. If you look at it as, if you dissect, obviously, because the top 3 were all Tier 1 races, and then he was 4th, and yeah, basically did a fantastic job. But guys, we've got a few comments coming in here. Jazzman saying, Andy, have a good stream. Good to see Jazzman as always, and yep, he'll be out on track later on for Tier 1, so looking forward to seeing him back out in the Motive track. But we got Glenn there in the comments, says good luck Spur Time, Ericode and Chris. Dan Davis, Matt and Gary Tier 2, boys, you've gone backwards. To be fair, Dan, they've got to start somewhere. You know how it is here at Motive. Unfortunately, you can't just get lifted straight up into the top tier unless you're like an absolute alien. But I mean, the only drivers who, no, to be fair, not even absolute aliens, and I can actually testify to this. I mean, you know, drivers like Jill Silverin, been driving in this league. That, you know, Jill Silverin was way too quick for most of the drivers in this league at the start of the season. But obviously, as the season's gone on, Codlungu's got quicker. TJ Carlo has jumped in and has done a really good job. But you know, nobody gets to march straight up into the top tier now. It just doesn't happen anymore. Pretty much, you have to learn your trade in the lower tiers and then work your way up. It always is the way. But we got Zillabang there saying, thanks Glenn, that's Error Code, who will be lining up in P10 here for this race. Somebody's failed to ready up. That's Spur Time, who hasn't readied up at the start of this race, and obviously that could be crucial here. He is the championship leader coming in tonight, so that could be huge there for Spur Time. But nonetheless, Glenn there saying Tier 1 reboot, mate, I'm on it now. I'm on it right now before I forget, because otherwise I will forget. It's a fact. No, I'm busy. I'm commentating right now. Please, not now. So here we go, guys. We're just starting a formation lap here at Indianapolis for the final round of the season here for Tier 2. Obviously, the ACC PS5 GT3 Championship here on a Sunday night. We've got Spur Time, the championship leader. Unfortunately, didn't ready up here, so he's going to have to come from the back. And he's going to have a lot of work to do over the course of this race if he is to be able to.
Through everything that I've got.
If he is to have any chance in the reckoning here for this one. I'm just quickly restarting the tier 2, the tier 1 server now. So let's just crack on with that. So do bear with, guys, and I'm going to be about 1 minute and then I'll be back on the mic. Here we are then, guys, coming out of the final corner here at the Brickyard for the final round of the season here. We've got the Tier 2s out on track right now. Codlungu lining up on pole position with TJ Carlo alongside him here on the front row as we're just coming up towards the line. We should be moments away here. We've got, so the Tier 1 server's been reset, by the way, guys. Best time I could have done by just popping here late, says Totally Zero. Yeah, not too bad, mate, not too bad. P6, that's pretty solid there, considering you didn't get much laps in. Jill Silver says, good luck, guys, good luck, says Totally Zero. Fury from the back, Gary, what are you doing? Not the Gary I remembered, says Dan Davis. Well, here we come into turn 1, nonetheless, for the first time here. And Codlungu here has got a clear lead ahead of TJ Carlo. In fact, TJ Carlo's lost a load of places here at the start. He's got damage on the front of the car. So what has happened there to TJ Carlo? As I just can see there, an Audi squeezing around the outside of a BMW there. So that, I don't... it must be Error Code there who's in the mix. Error Code there has managed to get AJ Shelton as AJ Shelton's trying to come back at him there but can't do it. But Codlungu leading on this first lap ahead of TJ Carlo. Sorry, TJ Carlo dropped on the order a bit. Sorry, it's Jill Silverin in second ahead of Matimovic. Matimovic here is running, actually he's in second place now. So, oh, no he's not. Yeah, he is. No, yeah, he's in second place. So Matimovic there running behind Codalungu, and we can see these guys coming out onto the back straight here for the first time at racing speeds. There's Crazy Legs ahead of Totally Zero, who's up into 4th place here, ahead of Error Code, who's got Shelton behind him. TJ Carlo down to 7th place, but he's looking down the inside of Shelton here, and he's made the move actually. So TJ Carlo there back up into 6th place, so he's picked off one driver there in the background. There seems to be a bit of argy-bargy going on there. Carl Marley just ahead of Fury. Fury though up into P10. Great first lap here from Fury from the back of the grid, so he's really got on with it. He's not been sticking around. He's not been hanging around for anybody in the first part of this race. But Codalungu leading by just over a second ahead of Matahimovic. They're coming into the final sector here on lap 1 of the race. And it's been quite a clean first lap from everybody really so far. Spur Time obviously starting from the pit lane, running in 18th place here in the early stages of this race. Not where he'd want to be, I'm absolutely certain of that. But here we come over the line, and it's Cod from Matt from Crazy Legs, and then you've got side by side here between Error Code and TJ Carlo. TJ Carlo looking to try and pick up another driver here, looking down the inside into turn 1. Is this going to be job done here for him? I think it is going to be job done here for TJ Carlo. Surely he's going to complete this move as down the inside he goes, gets the move done, and confidence there on the brakes from TJ Carlo up into P5, and he can now focus his attention further up the grid. But currently Codalungu leads by just under a second. Matahimovic obviously going from 4th to 2nd place on the first lap, and since then he's just kept the gap at around a second between himself and Codalungu. So at this point he's keeping Codalungu on his toes, but not really putting him under any significant pressure at this early stage in the race. Fury in the meantime now looking to try and attack on the back of Carl Marley for 9th place. It's been a very strong opening couple of laps here for Fury after not the best qualifying session for him. But good luck folks, says GJ Ken. Stick to the touring cars, Gary says Dan. Oh, harsh words there from him. Evening racers, come on Chris, says Scuderia Paul. Scuderia Paul will be racing later on as well in Tier 1, voicing his support for our man in the I think that's it's the number 11, isn't it? That's not the number 2, is it? That's the number 11, surely. I think it is, yeah. That is the number 11 there. So yeah, it's number 12 because the number 11's taken. Right, okay, yeah. But yeah, Chris obviously getting plenty of support here from Scuderia Paul, and we know that these two are friends. Obviously they're all part of the GT UK Game Tech kind of group. And obviously, yeah, a lot of those guys we met in Game Tech servers on ACC, and a lot of them came over. A lot of them we met actually by jumping into those stream servers that Game Tech used to run on the PS5. I don't know if he still does actually. I haven't seen him for a little while. I don't know if he does it on PC now still, but I remember he was running quite a lot of those a few months back, but haven't seen him actually for a while. Eric nonetheless looking to the inside of Totally Zero into turn 1, but he's a little bit too far back just at the moment, and no changes just at the moment between any of those guys. You can see in the background there somebody's looking to make a move as Remsters there's just ahead of Chris. Fierce Mars is just tucked in between them there, so Fierce Mars making a move there on Chris up into P16. Nice move there into turn 1. It's still Cod leading by just over a second. Matt there in second with Crazy third, followed by TJ Carlo, Totally Zero. There's Error Code ahead of Shelton, with Jill Silver and Carl Marley and Fury rounding out the top 10. As Gary here is coming under big pressure right now from Tunde, who's looking to try and force the issue a little bit here if he possibly can. Gary there a little bit wide, coming out onto the back straight. Is Tunde going to be able to punish him here down towards the end of this little straight? He's very, very close here, and now he's going to look to the inside. Gary leaves the door open. Tunde's going to send one down the inside. Is he going to be able to go for it? Gary there later on the brakes, keeping it around the outside for the time being, and he survives the attack from Tunde for the time being here in that battle for 11th place. As looking at the gap at the front, Codalungu's now over 2 seconds ahead of Matt. Crazy Legs, something's happened to Crazy Legs here because he's dropping down the order. So I'm not sure if maybe Matt and Crazy Legs might have had a bit of a to-do, because Crazy Legs is now dropping, well, he's in the mid-pack now, so that's gone horribly wrong. Matt's also lost a couple of seconds to Codalungu. And Codalungu now clearing away out the front of this pack as here we come over the line to complete lap 3. It's Cod there leading ahead of Matt, followed by TJ Carlo, who's now in 3rd place after his bit of a scrappy start to the race, but since then he's really got it down. Matt, this is the only way to win a race in Tier 2. Well, at the moment he's doing a decent job of getting on the podium, but a long way to go if he wants to get P2. Codalungu is disappearing off into the distance right now, done. But in the meantime, we've got Jill Silverin's lost out to Gary and Tunde. So Jill Silverin with big damage on the front of the car as well. I'm not sure what's happened there to him, but he seems to have been through the shredder there, the front of that car. So that's a bit of a confusing one there for him. But he's going to struggle with performance loss, and I don't know whether he's going to probably bring it into the pits and get that fixed sooner, or he'd be better off getting it fixed sooner rather than later here. There's not going to be really much benefit at all to staying out. If he's half tanking it, he'd probably be better suited to switch to to just put a full tank of fuel in, put some fresh tyres on if he has to, and or probably not even bother with changing tyres, to be honest, because it'd be a waste of time. He's not really going to get any benefit out of changing them at this point whatsoever, so might as well get well, actually saying that, he's going to spend a bit of time in the pit box because obviously he's got the damage, so actually probably he might as well change tyres, I guess, if he had 3 laps fresher than everybody else's. Not going to make a world of difference, but at least it'll be something. But yeah, I suppose actually thinking about it on reflection, he probably should change tyres because he might as well while he's there. But in the meantime, we're watching the drivers coming through towards the end here of lap 4 at Indianapolis for the Tier 2 race here for the GT3 Championship at Motive. As I'm just watching here, Tunde is dropping down the order a little bit. I'm not quite sure what's happened here to him, but Tunde has obviously had a spin somewhere because he's now running in 17th place, so he's lost a load of places here. Didn't see where that happened or how it happened, but nonetheless he's lost an absolute heap of time right now. But we can see all of them coming through down towards turn 1 once again. We've got a move here being shaped up. Fury's now slotting in right in the middle of a few of these drivers as he's now looking to the outside of Crazy Legs into turn 1. Can he complete this move? Crazy Legs goes late on the brakes there. Fury sees him coming, but Crazy Legs goes a little bit deep there and into turn 2. Fury can't get the cutback. Crazy Legs does keep on to that one, so Fury had obviously out-dragged him down the straight, but Crazy Legs down the inside into turn 1, back up into 7th place, and these two currently jostling for position. But it's been a strong drive from Fury so far, I've got to say, from near the back of the grid, and he's really made some strong progress here in the early laps of this race. You've got Gary not too far behind these guys as well, running in 9th place, but Fury here trying his best to really make something happen here on the back of Crazy Legs, but can't make the move stick just at the moment as we're coming out onto the back straight once again here. But you see Crazy Legs just managed to pull away a little bit from Fury through that section of the track, through the twisty section, the first sector, and now has just got a reasonable cushion to him at this stage. So Fury's just got to regather himself, go again. Obviously he had the move done very briefly, but couldn't make it stick. In the meantime, Codalungu's keeping a gap to Matt though, coming under pressure now from TJ Carlo. I'd say TJ Carlo probably the quickest man out on track at the moment. He's definitely closing on the race to the Cod, and he seems to have to pace over Matt at this point. But saying that, it's quite feasible for TJ Carlo to be running a half tank because Codalungu was actually the quickest man in qualifying. He was on pole position, let's not forget, so he was the man to beat. And obviously with that taken into account, you know, he should theoretically be the quickest driver in the race, or at least close to the pace of TJ Carlo outright. So you'd have thought that maybe TJ Carlo might have half tanked it, maybe, especially when you consider that damage as well on the car, because that should be, on paper, should be affecting his performance quite a bit. So I imagine it probably is in some way or another. In the meantime, we see Crazy Legs there defending from Fury once again into turn 1. Fury still can't go for a cutback there. Coming out to turn 2. Oh, Crazy Legs though bins it. He gets sideways there and he's round, and that's going to promote Fury up into 7th place. And Crazy Legs there just getting it horribly wrong through that part of the track. Fury there can now focus his attention up ahead of him as Crazy Legs there goes wide, very, very wide there onto the grass, and that might allow Snoopy here to have a look. So Gary's got ahead of him as well. Now Snoopy's going to be coming up on the scene here, but where's Gary? Gary is... Wait, what's happened to Gary? Oh, he's lapping spur time. Okay. So that's spur time there, just up in front of them. But Gary here is currently got heavy pressure now from Fury. So Fury's behind Gary and he's now attacking him towards the end of the back straight. But these guys coming up to lap spur time. Well, they will be in a few moments' time, but Gary with damage on the front of the car, so he must have come together there with Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs now running behind Snoopy, and it's a bit chaotic here, I must say. There's a lot going on at this point, but yeah, Gary and Fury, these two rivals, obviously raced together at Simplay. I know that both of these two quite well. I've raced against both of them myself on Project Cars 2 many times, so I know how both of them drive. I know that you know, you can have good fights with these two. They're always clean, usually, well, always fair as well. Very quick and competitive guys. So these two, I know that they're going to leave everything out there. But here we come out onto the start-finish straight once again, and Gary, they're getting a poor run there, and that's going to give Fury a run here down the start-finish straight. But Gary actually with a wider exit out of the corner managed to carry that a little bit more speed maybe. As into turn 1 we go. Fury's on the inside there, should be able to get this one done, I think. And he does get it done there, so Fury moves himself through up into 7th place. Beautiful move there from him. And now he can maybe focus his attention on Eric Code, who's 6 seconds up the road. But first of all, he's got to get ahead of the lap car at spare time. And also, he's got to weather the storm from Gary, because I'm sure that Gary's going to try and come back at him here. In the meantime, it looks like TJ Carlo's got ahead of Matahimovic for P2. So he's made that move in the first sector here. So TJ Carlo obviously was on the back of Matt for some time. Now he's made the move, but Matt's trying to come back at him here, coming down towards the end of the back straight, and Matt's gone very deep there. And is he going to lose out here to Totally Zero? Where is Matahimovic? He's going to come out. He's just... Wait, hold on. No, was it Matt? I'm sure it was. No, it was... Oh, it's TJ that went deep. Sorry, I do apologise. It was TJ that went deep there. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit tired if you haven't noticed. But yeah, TJ was the one who went deep, and Matt is back up into second place. So Matt says, thanks TJ, I'll have that back. And TJ, after all the positions after all the time he's gained, and obviously had to really fight in the last few laps to regain the places he lost on the first lap, he's now gone and dropped 2 places there in a space of 1 corner. So now Totally Zero up into the podium places. Now TJ is going to have to get onto the back of him and try and attack him to get back onto the podium here. But in the meantime, it's Kodolungu leading the race by just under a second here ahead of Matahimovic, who's got Totally Zero and TJ on the back of them at this point. You've got Shelton there running in P5 just ahead of Error Code, and then a bit of a gap back to Fury, who's got Gary falling off of the back of him now. So Fury's gapping Gary. Crazy Legs still on the back of Gary as they're coming in towards sorry, that's not Crazy Legs, sorry, that's the lap car of Spur Time there, who's on the back of Gary. There's Crazy Legs ahead of Snoopy, followed by Remster. Then you've got Fierce Mars there running in P12. Bit of a gap back to Lexi Mate there, who's in 13th. Has got a further 5 seconds back to Chris. And you've got Carl Marley ahead of Tunde. And obviously Spur Time and Jill Silverman still going. Those two are in for early pit stops here, as was Tunde actually, to be fair to him. So plenty of drivers to come in for early pit stops, but most of them still yet to make their mandatory pit stop at some point throughout the course of this race. But it's currently Kodolungu still doing the business out the front. 5.5 seconds this gap over Matt, but Matt over the course of this particular lap has actually gained a little bit here. But saying that, I don't think he has now, because you can see Totally Zero's gained on him quite a bit. That gap's less than 1.3. You can see quite clearly that gap's not 1.3 seconds. It's 0.4 of a second now. So Totally Zero's gained absolutely loads here on Matt. Matt must have made a mistake coming to the middle sector. I'm pretty sure about that, because he wouldn't have. That wouldn't be his ultimate pace, I'm sure. But Kodolungu here coming over the line here to start lap 9 of the race, and he's got a bit of a gap to these two who are still running in second and third place. You've got TJ there who's closing up onto the back of them as well, so he'll be looking to bring himself into that podium 5 very shortly, I would have thought. Oh, watching this battle here between Fierce Mars and Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs trying to come back at Fierce Mars. Obviously Crazy Legs made a bit of a mistake a couple of laps ago, dropped a few places here, but he's trying to regain them here as we're coming out of the final corner. Is he going to get a run here down the start finish straight? In the meantime, Gary's into the pits here at the end of lap 8, so an early pit stop there for Gary, relatively early, because obviously we're still way before the halfway point at this stage. But Crazy Legs here looking down the inside of Fierce Mars nonetheless into turn 1. This is for P10 in the race, but a little bit too far back coming into turn 1. Has to think better of it, and he's going to have to wait for another opportunity here. Keeping an eye on the battle for second place, because Matt's now got Totally Zero and TJ Carlo on him. Obviously TJ Carlo made the move on Matt a couple of laps ago, but then went deep coming through actually this next corner here that they're coming up to now, and dropped a couple of places there to Matt and Totally Zero as a result. But he's currently sat on the fringes of them once again. Here is TJ Carlo with a bit of damage there on the front of the car as well. But I've theorised already, I think he might have maybe half tanked it here for this one, because, and what my thinking is, because the fact that he's got damage on the car should actually be costing him time, and also the fact that Cod was the pole sitter as well, and at points in this first stint TJ's been a lot quicker than Cod. At one point he was about half a second quicker than him before he caught up to the back of Matahimovic. So that's just a theory here. I mean, that could help Matt and Totally Zero. I'm not quite sure what strategy Totally Zero's on, and neither really am I sure what Matt is on either, to be fair. So Matt could be on pretty much any strategy at this point. I don't really know what people are doing with their strategy. In fact, Cod could even be half tanking it. You know, you just don't know. That's the beauty. You know, you've got to wait for the pit stops to see how much time people lose, and then that gives you an idea of whether they've put fuel in and whether they've changed tyres. And then obviously you see how much time they lose in comparison to the other drivers, and that kind of gives you a bit of a reference point. Nonetheless, there's Fury, who's just put a lap there on Chris, I think, I dare say. Or is it Tunde? No, it's Tunde. So yeah, Fury's put it up on Tunde. There's Snoopy running in 8th place. He's got Remster, Fierce Mars and Crazy Legs. These three battling it out over 9th, 10th and 11th places. Lexi Mate's there still running in 12th place ahead of Chris, with Carl Marley and obviously Jill Silver in the lap car there, not too far behind him. But this is the battle right now. This is the main battle out on track here. There's a battle for second, third and fourth as well. We're currently watching a battle for 9th, 10th and 11th though, between Remster, Fierce Mars and Crazy Legs. As you can see here, Fierce Mars just trying to put a bit of pressure here on Remster, but hasn't been able to force him into any mistakes right now. As Crazy Legs just pulling up onto the back of Fierce Mars a little bit here. Fierce Mars didn't get a great run coming to that twisty section of the track, but looks like Crazy Legs is too far back here to make a move down the back straight for the time being then. And he's going to have to continue to wait for an opportunity here. In the meantime though, TJ Carlo looking up the inside of Totally Zero into the chicane. Oh, it's kind of like a chicane, isn't it? I mean, it's not really. Yeah, I'd call it a chicane. It is. It's kind of like a chicane. But they're coming out of the final corner here, and TJ Carlo can get a good run. Might be able to fancy his chances into turn 1, but I think he's probably not got enough momentum here. He's not really close enough to the back of Totally Zero as they come over the line here to start lap 11 of the race. As into turn 1, TJ Carlo is having a look there, just trying to distract Totally Zero, trying to put him off a little bit. But Totally Zero is not being phased by that, not being put off in any way by the Aston Martin, which is currently occupying his rear view mirrors and occupying probably a bit of his attention as well. Obviously, he's trying to attack on Matahimovic, but he's also got to focus on making sure that he's covering off any potential advances from TJ at this point. But he goes deep there, is TJ, massively deep there, little mistakes coming into it as we've seen over the course of tonight, and that's going to disrupt a bit of time here to these two. Totally Zero is all over Matt here as they're coming out onto the back straight. Totally Zero obviously didn't get a load of practice in for this race. He jumped in quite late on in the qualifying, or was it actually, yeah, it was quite midway through the qualifying session that he jumped in and didn't really manage to get a load of practice in. So he's coming in a little bit blind here tonight at Indy, but he's been doing a fantastic job. I mean, qualified in P6, and he's probably gaining confidence every single lap, because when you don't practice, you tend to get quicker and quicker over the course of a race. I've always said this. I can always tell when a driver hasn't practiced, because you just see them getting better and better every single lap. It's like they're finding more and more confidence and just, I don't know, understanding of the track and how the car behaves around the track. It's just that you see every single lap they're just they're learning new things and they're picking up new ideas. But Matimovic here nonetheless still holding on for second place here. He had a Totally Zero with TJ Carlo right behind them. Fury is still on the back of Aerocode as they're coming out of the final corner. They're about to complete their 11th laps of the race. Fury is going to be close enough here to make a move. I think he is going to be close enough. That was a hiccup, by the way, as Fury here to the inside into turn 1. Down the inside he goes. Fury gets that one done up into P6, so easy pickings there for him. As in the meantime we have got Remster here weaving around, trying to break the toe here to Fierce Mars. As into turn 1 we go. Fierce Mars looking down the inside, but just a little bit too far away at this point, and is going to have to continue to wait patiently here for his opportunity. Right now Matt is still running in second place, but he has got Totally Zero and TJ Carlo all over the back of him right now. As Fury is ahead of Aerocode into P6, and now he can try and chase down Shelton, who's in 5th place. And Fury, to be fair, he's only about 11 or 12 seconds off of the lead, so it's been a superb drive here from Fury, and I wouldn't count him completely out of the podium at this point. Obviously I know that Matt, Totally Zero and TJ are quite a long way ahead of him, but with strategy coming into play, and obviously still a long way to go, still 40 minutes left in the race. That's probably going to be, I'd say, about 25 laps in the race. So plenty of opportunities here for Fury still, but we can see Totally Zero looking to the inside here on Matt. Matt leaves a bit of a gap there as we come through into the final corner. Now Totally Zero is going to go for a cut back out of the last corner. Can he get the better exit here? He's going to look to the inside, and we are going to be side by side here down the start finish straight. So this is Totally Zero's opportunity here to try and take P2 away from Matimovic. Side by side here, down towards turn 1 we go. In the background, TJ looking to try and distract both of these guys in the mirror, but Totally Zero okay. Down the inside of Matahimovic. Matahimovic tries to turn in, and there's contact there between them, but Matt holds it around the outside and went up the inside for turn 2 and just survives. But now TJ Carlo is going to attack on the back of Totally Zero. Round the outside as turn 3 he goes into 4. TJ Carlo gets the move done there. Brilliant stuff there from those guys. Side by side all the way through, and TJ Carlo gets himself into 3rd place, but he goes very wide there. Can he hold it for the next left-hander? They're still side by side here. TJ Carlo getting it done. Totally Zero can't hold it around the outside any longer. TJ Carlo there gets himself into 3rd place, and that was exemplary driving from these guys. Beautiful racing, and TJ Carlo now finally in third place, and that's given Matahimovic just a little bit of a reprieve there with those two battling behind him. And there's TJ still running ahead of Totally Zero at this point with a bit of a gap back to Shelton. You've got Fury there running in P6, couple of seconds ahead of Error Code. And there's Snoopy running in 8th place at the moment, a few seconds clear of Ramster. You've got Crazy Legs there running in P10, a few seconds clear of Fierce Mars. He's a few seconds further clear of Lexi Mate. Then you've got Chris ahead of Carl Marley. So yeah, plenty going on at this point as we see Carl Marley trying to tackle the back of Chris here as he's looking to the outside down the end of the back straight, with Chris there defending that one at the moment, and Carl Marley's not going to be able to get it around him for the time being. Cod though still leading by 7.5 seconds right now over Matahimovic, who's still in second place with TJ and Totally Zero right on the back of him at this point. TJ Carlo attacking to the outside of Matt there as they came through, and he's got it done there as TJ Carlo. So he's up into P2. Sorry guys, I have to move my mic for a second there. And what a move there from TJ Carlo. Now Matt's got to watch out because Totally Zero is all over the back of him coming out onto the start finish straight. And here we go, there's Totally Zero in the slipstream now. But TJ Carlo, a wonderful move there up into second place. These guys are now nearly 10 seconds behind the race leader Codalunga at this point, as Totally Zero now looking to the inside here into turn one. Is this going to be job done here for Totally Zero? Matt once again keeping the grip around the outside. It's a very wide first corner and you can carry the speed around the outside really nicely, and Matt there surviving in that podium spot for the time being. But Totally Zero now knocking on the door. Can TJ Carlo now start to skip away from these two? Now he's in clean air. These guys have actually got Shelton and Fury closing in on them here. So I was saying before, Fury could be in the battle for a podium on a strategy. He might not even need some strategy. He might just need the guys in front of him to continue squabbling, and he can bring himself into that fight on pure pace. It's been an absolutely stellar drive here from Fury so far, from the back of the grid as well. Let's not forget, he's been absolutely fantastic here tonight. And yeah, he's currently only a second now off the back of Shelton. He was about 5 seconds behind him the last time we looked. But Matt's not now lost out to Totally Zero. Totally Zero's got that one down up into third place. Must have done it down the back straight there. So Totally Zero now up in position. Matt here potentially could come back into it on the strategy. Not quite sure what plan he's got in terms of his pit strategy at this stage. In the meantime, here's Codalunga putting a lap on Gary. Is Gary there releasing the space on the inside? So Codalunga there making that one rather routinely. Obviously Gary though needs to come into the pits to make a stop, and you see Gary just giving quite a bit of a tap there into turn one. Nothing major, obviously not making any problems, but just giving him a bit of a cheeky little nudge there. But no problems between those guys. As Shelton now into the pits here at end of that 15. So he becomes the first driver of the guys who are maybe in the battle for the podiums kind of thing coming in. So and coming in relatively early as well, obviously well before the halfway point, so I don't think he's going to be changing tyres, probably not, because it'd be a bit too early. I think you're not really going to maximise the strategy by doing that. You want to be pitting as close to the halfway point as you possibly can, and Shelton here. Well, to be fair, he is actually spending quite a little while in that box, so maybe he is changing tyres and putting fuel in, because he's been in there now for about 20 seconds, so I reckon he must be. So actually Shelton is changing tyres and is putting fuel in. So interesting strategy there from him. Cod's still leading the race, but his gap to TJ Carlos come down. It's now 8 seconds between Codalunga and TJ Carlos. So Cod was nearly 10 seconds ahead about a minute or so ago. So TJ Carlos seems to be getting it down. Obviously he's gapping Tony Zero and Matt, and Matt's got back ahead of Tony Zero as well. So Matahimovic now back up into the podium places. Where has he done that? So Matahimovic managing to force Tony Zero into some kind of mistake, I assume. In the meantime, where is Fury? Because Fury should be gaining on these guys, I would have thought, with them two squabbling a little bit. There's Fury coming through the final corner. So he's actually gaining now on Tony Zero. You can see they're both coming through the shot, and Tony Zero now only less than 2 seconds ahead of Fury. So Fury's definitely bringing himself into contention here for a podium place. Codalunga, in the meantime, is your race leader by just over 8 seconds at this point, and looking good for what will be his second win of the season if he can bring this one home. Obviously he took the win at Monza 3 weeks ago. It was round 5 of the season, Codalunga, and that was the last time he was actually here, because he's been I think he's been visiting family in Italy for the last couple of weeks, so hasn't been around, which is a shame obviously, because he's been getting better and better over the course of the season. He seems to be getting to grips with the PlayStation 5 version of ACC. Obviously used to race with us on the PS4. Took him a little while to get up to speed and get to be the Codalunga that we all knew on the PS4, but he's definitely getting there now, and he's been absolutely fantastic over the last few rounds that we've seen him in. As I say, taking a win in his last appearance here at Monza, and back on the track here for the first time in 3 weeks, and he's currently blazing a trail right now. TJ Carlo though in second place, but to keep an eye on that gap, because it could be coming down. Whereas saying that, TJ Carlo must have made a mistake here, because he's now nearly 10 seconds behind Cod, and he's got Matt pulling up onto the back of him here as well. So TJ Carlo with a bit of a mistake, which could maybe give Matahimovic an opening here. These guys are a couple of seconds ahead of Tony Zero, who made his own mistake a couple of laps ago, and he's got Fury not too far off of him as well. So Fury could be definitely a factor here in this battle for the podium. So as I said earlier on, don't count him out of the top 3. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact his grip position was so low, I reckon Fury could have been in with a shout of a win here tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately for him. But nonetheless, he's been really, really strong here tonight, and I don't expect anything less from him, to be honest with you. Matt Fury, I expected him to jump in and be quick straight away. Obviously, I know it's Fury's debut here at Motive on ACC, although it isn't actually, because I mean, I guess in a way you could say it's almost like a different Fury, because this was a couple of years ago. Fury, I think he's still quite young. I think he must be about 17 or 18. I don't know. I know he's quite young. He was a young lad when I first knew him. I think he must be about 18 now. But yeah, basically he raced with us on ACC. I think about 2 or 3 years ago it must have been. He raced a couple of rounds in Tier 2, but obviously he was still a bit young then. I think he hadn't really played any other sims other than Project Cars 2. I think he might have even been on the controller back then as well. So although it's not his debut here at Motive on ACC, he's obviously raced the sim player for a few seasons. That's obviously, we know that already. But also I think we've got to factor in the fact that it's almost a completely different driver, as he goes very wide there onto the grass. Nonetheless, Tony Zero is now pulled a bit of a gap to him here. So Tony Zero looking a little bit more comfortable there in 4th place at this point. But Fury's just got to get his head back together, keep it going, and not get too phased by that, because there's still plenty of laps left here in this race. Still plenty of time. Obviously, we're only halfway through this race here tonight. So yeah, still plenty of opportunities to go, as Tony Zero is into the pits, I think. Yeah, so Matt, TJ and Tony Zero all in the pits here at the end of lap 18. Fury continuing on his way, might be able to get the overcut on them potentially. That's surely what he's going to be going for at this point. But Matt, TJ and Tony Zero all coming in at the halfway point, so I think it's safe to say they're probably half tanking it and changing tyres, because there wouldn't be much benefit to doing that otherwise. So they're all doing that now here at the end of lap 18. Error Code and Snoopy both coming into the pits here as well. See if anybody else comes in at the halfway point. Obviously those who are half tanking it makes the most sense to be coming in at the halfway point. I mean, it's not really rocket science, is it? But looks like it's just the aforementioned who are coming in. Matt's already done his pit stop. He's now off and away. TJ Carlo, his pit box is right at the end of the pit lane, so we'll find out in a moment. Oh no! Oh, Matt's picked up a stop go. Oh, what a shame. Matt Ahimovic here in contention for a podium place has picked up a stop go penalty for steaming into the pit lane. Totally Zero has managed to do his pistol. Oh, Totally Zero's gone off onto the gravel there. I'd have lost him about 3 or 4 seconds, that would have. Bit of an excursion there from Totally Zero. And, well, that would have been quite a costly mistake in his battle with Matt Ahimovic if it wasn't for the fact that Matt had gone speeding into the pit lane. Error code into the pits now, as well as Snoopy and Carl Marley. Kodalungu also in the pits, so race leaders coming in at the end of lap 19. Fury now in as well, just after the halfway point. Are these guys going to be changing tyres? Have they half tanked it? Obviously, if you're half tanking it, you might as well change tyres because you're going to be in the box for a little while, changing fuel. But here we are, guys. We're just watching as Fury's in the box. See how long he is in the box. Is it going to be a on and off the jacks kind of move, or is it going to be a bit of a stop and wait situation? Cod's definitely half tanked it because he's been sat in his box now for quite a while. But Fury, there we go. Cod's now off the jacks and away. Fury, I think, also half tanking it because he's been sat in the box now for a little while. So I think most of them are half tanking it here tonight. It'd be actually interesting now to see if anybody in that top group has full tanked it, because they'll be obviously coming out a bit further ahead of where they were before, and they'll probably be a bit slower in this second stint as well. Obviously with worn tyres, that will be a bit of a given. But Cod coming to the end of the pit lane here as he is just starting his 20th lap of the race, and Cod has come out. Where is Totally Zero here? I'm just watching the timing board here. I think Totally Zero has come out ahead of Cod. He has him. He's jumped him by miles. But has Totally Zero full tanked it? Cod, I think, well, Cod's definitely half tanked it, so he should have fresh tyres on at this point. But how far behind Totally Zero is he? And obviously that'll be how much time he's got to make up over the next whatever we've got left in the race. So the gap between Totally Zero and Kodalungu, 16 seconds. So that, I think, is going to be our battle for the race win then, between these two. Totally Zero on worn out tyres, Kodalungu on fresh tyres, both with similar fuel loads at this point. But Kodalungu's tyres are going to be 19 laps fresher than Totally Zero's. As Matevich has now done his stop go penalty and is now coming out of the pits. He's got Lexi Mate just behind him coming out as well. But big news here. Kodalungu currently has got a bit of a gap to overhaul here, but we're going to have probably, I'd say, about 15 laps in the race for him to manage to claw that down. So it's still going to be time for it to happen. But can he make it happen over the course of the next 25 minutes here? In the meantime, Fury's on the back of Shelton here as they're coming over the line. Fury's actually dropped a bit of time into Shelton. Shelton's pulled away from him there, coming through the final sector. So did Fury make a bit of a mistake there? Not sure. Only driver still yet to pit in this race is Ramster. Obviously he is now the race leader, so when he comes in, that will promote Totally Zero up into the lead. Cod's taking about a second a lap off of Totally Zero at the moment, and as I said, probably going to have about 15 laps in the race, so the gap 15 seconds at the moment, so it's going to be very close here between Totally Zero and Cod. What's going to be the quicker overall strategy? I have a feeling that the no tyre change strategy could actually be the quicker overall strategy, but obviously Cod had such a gap at the start before the pit window. So I reckon that even if the no tyre change strategy is the quicker one, I reckon that it might still pay dividends here for Cod, or rather, he might still be able to make the tyre change work. Remstelow in the meantime is in the pits here at the end of lap 20, or lap 21 even. Totally Zero now reassumes the race lead. Codlunga will come around to take P2 here. Where's Remster going to come out? That's a big good question here, because you've got Shelton just coming through into the chicane. He's got Fury now closing up onto the back of him in this battle for P4. Could this be P3? With Remster still in the box, I think it is going to be a battle for P3 here between these two. As Shelton and Fury here coming over the line to start lap 22. Remster there, where is he? Still in the box, so this is now the battle for third place here in this race. Shelton and Fury though must have had problems in the pits, because they come out well behind Codlunga, who definitely, well, no, because Cod obviously was leading the race by quite a way actually, but Totally Zero seems to have gained a huge amount on everybody else, just by probably not changing tyres. That's probably what it is. But even so, he seems way too far ahead of Shelton and Fury. I guess it's a long pit lane, but even so, you've got to stop in your box. You know, it doesn't really make any odds in terms of the length of the pit lane, because obviously the time you spend in the box, it doesn't really get worsened by the length of the pit lane, if that makes sense. In the meantime, Fury they're making a move on Shelton. Beautiful move there by Fury down the inside of that little, well, that hairpin section there, and now he's up into third place here. So Fury putting an absolute peach off there and into clean air, but he's got a long way up the road to Totally Zero and Cod. 16 seconds behind Cod, about 30 seconds behind the race leader Totally Zero. But Cod is absolutely gaining hand over fist over Totally Zero. So actually, I've got to eat my words here. I think that the tyre change strategy was definitely not the way to go. I'm just realising here, we've lost TJ Carlo from the race. What has happened here? So we've lost TJ Carlo. Has he disconnected? I'm just not quite sure what's going on here. Oh, he's in the comments here. Jamie Carlo says, who smashed up? That's up on the first straight. Ruined my race, then the car would not pit. The crew did nothing. Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but I mean, you had the pace in the first stint, mate, despite the damage. I don't know if you can let us know what happened there, but that's quite bizarre. Box race over, says Tony. Zillabang. That's error code there. Sorry guys, something went wrong with my pit. No fuel added. But yeah, Jamie Carlo, TJ Carlo out of this race here. Obviously was in contention for a podium place, but it's gone wrong for him. And well, Fury now occupying that final podium place. Totally Zero Cod and Fury both gaining on Totally Zero at this point. Totally Zero obviously hasn't changed tyres, and I reckon he may live to rue that one, because he's losing about 2 seconds a lap to Cod. And yeah, by the time he gets into this race, Cod's going to be miles ahead of him. And yeah, Totally Zero is going to be hanging on for dear life. I reckon Fury might be able to catch him up as well before the end of this race, the rate it's going. So I don't think that was the right move there for Totally Zero to stay out on the tyres that he was on, but I suppose it was worth a roll of the dice going for a race win, but I don't think it's going to pay off at all for him. This Fury in the meantime is gapping Shelton. It's just over 2 seconds now between those two. Crazy Legs all over Matt here as he's looking to the inside. Can he get this one done? Oh, bit of contact there between them. Matt goes wide onto the grass there. Crazy Legs did push him a bit wide. A little bit naughty there. Crazy Legs does get a position as a result. Bit of push to pass there from Crazy Legs. That's not really what you want to see. But Crazy Legs gets himself into 9th place, which is a little bit of a questionable move there from him. And Matt's not happy with that, flashing his lights, and yeah, I can't really blame him for that. I can completely understand why he's a bit peeved off with that one. That was quite naughty there from Crazy Legs, I've got to say. I'm tempted to issue that a 5-point penalty, because that was 5 points on the license penalty. I mean, it wasn't a big crash. It wasn't any damage, but it was a bit rude. If I'm perfectly honest with you, definitely not sportsmanlike there. As in the meantime, COD only gained half a second on Totally Zero on that last lap. So Totally Zero losing that time to COD a couple of laps ago, was that maybe down to a mistake? Because on that lap, COD barely gained anything on him. You have to keep an eye on this, because if COD continues to gain only half a second a lap, he's not going to win this race. I was saying before, it could be a foregone conclusion here, and that Totally Zero could live to rue not changing tyres, but maybe not. Well, they're saying that, actually no. Fury gained 2 seconds on COD on that last lap, so I would hazard a guess that COD made a mistake. So actually, if COD gained half a second on Totally Zero, when he lost 2 seconds to the guy behind him, maybe actually, maybe I was right. Maybe Totally Zero is struggling. If he lost half a second to COD and COD lost 2 seconds to Fury, maybe that's not looking good for Totally Zero. So yeah, I stand by what I said earlier in regards to that. Gary in the meantime running in P5 ahead of Snoopy, as Snoopy's here looking down the inside into turn 1, a little bit too far back as Gary goes a bit deep but gets it turned in for turn 2. Snoopy trying to go for a cutback, can't get it, and Gary there holding on here coming through turn 3. Good luck to you two proper comms, says Robert Rowlonsky. Thank you, man, appreciate it very much. Totally okay, moves across on you in the braking zone, says Jamie Carlo. Oh, I just had a crash and a bang downstairs. That sounded like somebody just dropped something quite fragile on the floor. And I can now hear it being picked up, so I know that everyone's alright. But, oh, Jesus Christ. Still Gary and Snoopy here. Running 3/10 apart as they're coming down the back straight. And Snoopy looking to the inside, into the braking zone. He's going to go for it. No, he's not. Gary there, still holding on. Someone turned across us all before turn 1, says TJ Carlo. Are you talking about lap 1 there, mate? Because I noticed something going on into turn 1. Oh, Gary there, wide onto the grass. Massively out of shape there from Gary. Oh, and he gets it almost spun round there, but Cat holds onto it just about. But Snoopy there has managed to, well, obviously put a bit of a gap to him there with that little mistake there from Gary. Spur time not too far behind as well. 19 of you currently watching the stream here tonight, guys. Smash the like button, please, if you are enjoying what you're watching. Show your appreciation for these drivers out on track. We've got 8 likes, but 19 of you currently watching. Can we get the stream to 19 likes? Come on, guys, please. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already. If you want to get involved in our ACC PlayStation 5 leagues, then be sure to go to our Discord, www.motiveracing.com. Click on the sign up link. Oh, that is lap car there getting it wrong in front of Kodalungu. That was Tunde there, I think. No, it wasn't Tunde. It was the other car in that livery of Chris. So that's the second time that I've got those two mixed up, but this time it's the other way around. But yeah, www.motiveracing.com. Click the sign up link. That will take you to our Discord server, and then you can sign up to our ACC Season 5 leagues, which start in a couple of weeks actually. I'm trying to get a quick turnaround because I don't want to be spending too long sort of not having any racing, because I do like commentating. You know, I do enjoy it. I know sometimes it sounds like I'm running on no sleep and I'm slurring my words. I know I sometimes sound like a drunk when I'm commentating, and I'm actually, the only times that I've ever drank while commentating, I've actually always made it very clear, because I've said multiple times I'm drunk right now, and it's only been about 3 or 4 times I think ever in about, well, I must have commentated on about 500 streams, probably more than that. But basically the reason why I do often sound pissed when I'm commentating is because I basically don't sleep. I mean, I get up at 4:30, 5:30 every morning, pretty much every day, and I try and have a nap in the afternoon to give myself a bit more energy. But quite often, if this doesn't happen, I just lie down, and then I shut my eyes for half an hour, and I'm like, no, I've had enough. Get back up, do something. It's like I just can't sleep anymore. My brain is constantly active. I want to sleep, my body wants to sleep, but I just can't. I'm just constantly chronically stressed and can't ever sleep anymore. But nonetheless, Gary here looking to the inside on spur time into turn 1, but spur time there covers the inside line off a little bit, covers the middle lane, as there's no real opportunity for Gary to go for a gap, and spur time for the time being surviving there in that battle for P6. Crazy Legs has still got Remster on the back of him, just under a second separating those two at this point. Error code in the pits right now at the end of lap 26. Jill Silverine coming in at the moment, so He's making his pit stop now. So only 0 still your race leader, but Cod's got a gap under 7 seconds now. Fury's gaining on both of these two here in third place. In fact, Cod at the end of the start-finish straight. Fury coming over the start-finish line now, and the gap between Cod and Fury is only 12 seconds. Cod Fury is the quickest man out on track here tonight. Without a doubt, he is the quickest driver. And if he hadn't started so far down the order, I think he could have won this race. Personally, I think he could have quite easily won, well, not quite easily, but quite feasibly won this race. In the meantime, spur time seems to have gapped Gary a little bit. You can see now only 2 seconds between those two. Remster's not too far away from Crazy Legs at this point. Matimovic there has now got Leximate closing up onto the back of him. I wonder if Matt's got damage here, because he had some strong pace obviously earlier on, was battling over the podium places in the first few laps, but got his stop-go penalty. Has that just maybe dampened his spirit a little bit? Has that maybe stopped his motivation, because he seems to be now falling well off of the back of Remster, and he's falling back into the clutches, as I said before, of some lap cars here. So that's Tunde there, not Leximate. Leximate's running just ahead of Fierce Mars here in this battle for 11th place. Oh, as Leximate there goes deep, and that's going to give Fierce Mars a position. Oh, and Fierce Mars has gone off onto the grass there. Leximate comes through, or does he? Fierce Mars there trying to keep it around the outside. Where are these guys going to end up? Fierce Mars there squeezing back through ahead of Leximate. Back up into 11th place here. Fierce Mars in the meantime still running 11th place right now, ahead of Leximate, as Leximate's just dropped off him a little bit over the course of that last lap, just over a second now separating those two. Gary just running ahead of Crazy Legs at this stage, but Crazy Legs has closed the gap. Gary goes very deep, and Crazy Legs down the inside for the S's. They're still side by side. Crazy Legs keeps it there. Gary pushes him wide, a little bit naughty there from Gary. Crazy Legs will have the inside for the next corner at the end of this back straight. Gary's trying to keep himself there, tucks in for the slipstream. Crazy Legs might have to defend here, because I think Gary's going to try and send it. Is he going to look down the inside? Gary does go for it. Crazy Legs keeping himself around the outside. Oh, and there's contact between them. What is going on there, boys? That's not good enough. Crazy Legs there facing the wrong way, and now gets it spun round. And he's lost places here to quite a lot of drivers. So Remster and Matimovic moving themselves through up place each, and yeah, that's a bit silly there between Crazy Legs and Gary. A bit unnecessary, really, in my opinion. Gary's still running ahead of Remster as they're coming through into the final corner. Remster all over the back of Gary right now, as they're coming out onto the start-finish straight here. Coming over to start their 30th laps of the race. As here goes Remster now, looking down the inside of Gary into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make this move? He goes late on the brakes there. Oh, and Remster taps him in the rear. Sorry, Gary taps him in the rear, should I say. Remster gets the move done though, up into 8th place. Sorry, 7th even. God's sake, can't get anything right tonight. I'm so tired. I am ridiculously tired. I'm suffering from major exhaustion due to basically accumulated sleep loss, which is caused by chronic stress, and as a result my brain's just not with it. But currently Remster there now with a bit of a gap to Gary. Gary could be coming under pressure here from Matt as well in a few moments, so that could be one to watch here as they look to battle it out of race place. These two obviously good friends, they both race a Simplay. They both know each other's driving style very well indeed. It's Matt here, he's flashing his lights as well. There's a bit of a bravado between these two as Gary here is going to let him pass, lets Matt go without any questions asked there. Matt gets himself up into 8th place. Matt obviously was in contention for a podium earlier on, but due to stop go penalty really cost him here in this race. Back to the battle at the front. Tony Zero now has got just under a 3-second gap over Codlungu. As Cod is bringing a gap down consistently here, obviously with his fresh tyres. Totally Zero building his worn tyres now for the entire race. Coming into the closing stages here, I said before we're expecting Codlungu to appear on the back of Totally Zero right near the end. The gap's still best part of 3 seconds though at this point, and we're probably, after this lap that we're on right now, probably going to have 3 more laps left in this race. So I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility for Totally Zero to hold on and be able to defend this. He's going to have to be very wily about how he goes about this, but could Totally Zero, could he be on for his first ever win here on ACC at Motive? I don't think it's going to be impossible for that to happen. Cod there running in 2nd place, obviously took a win earlier this season at Monza. He knows what it's like to stand on the top step here on the PS5 on ACC as we're coming through the final chicane here. So we are about to start what I think is going to be the 3rd to last lap here in this race. A lap of this track is around a 1:38, so we should be on the 3rd to last lap here of the race. As here we come, Totally Zero and Cod now separated by 1.5 seconds, and they've got a bit of traffic as well which could help or hinder Totally Zero. It could work both ways. Depends where they encounter the traffic really, but the traffic might be intent on having their own battles here. Totally Zero K standing on the verge of maybe taking his first ever victory here at Motive Racing. And what a night it'd be to do it in the final race of the season here. But COD seems to have really gained up on the back of him just over the first sector here on this particular lap that they're on. It's now you see the gap just tipping it under a second here as they come out onto the back straight. Here they come. You can see in the foreground that's Jill Silver in there, who's on the back of Tunde. Tunde, Jill Silver, and you've got Gary as well as Fierce Mars in the battle there as well. They're battling over P10 at the moment, and here come the leaders. Totally Zero and COD are going to be coming up on them in a moment's time. Oh, it's Gary and Tunde have a collision. Oh, and Fierce Mars is into the wall. Oh no! And Totally Zero gets caught up in it, and COD Lungu there comes through and takes the lead of the race. And that is not how we wanted that one to go at all. Totally Zero there, not able to even defend, not given the opportunity to get past for the lead because he's been taken out by a back marker, and that is a brutal way for it to end for him. They were all squabbling for position. Gary and Fierce Mars were lapping Tunde and Jill Silver in. They were all lapping each other. You had them two lapping them, and then you had the leaders lapping the other guys. It was just carnage. That was just a recipe for disaster. That was the most nightmarish scenario that Totally Zero could have ever anticipated there. You've got to feel for him because that was horrible. That's absolutely horrible there for Totally Zero. And he is now running just over 5 seconds behind COD Lungu, who has been given this win on a play. And I wouldn't say it's impossible that COD Lungu would have won the race. Obviously he was on very fresh tyres and had a lot more grip than Totally Zero, but the fact that we've been robbed of a grandstand finish to this race, we've been robbed of seeing Totally Zero lose the lead on, you know, pure skill from COD Lungu, but also we robbed of the opportunity to defend his position as well. That's the worst part of it, as now he's struggling to get past these other drivers, and he's now going to have Fury on the back of him for second place here as well. Fury seems to have got caught up in this carnage as well. What is going on here, guys? What is happening? What is all this about? Seriously, what is going on here? Gary there's driving over the cross. Crazy Legs there carrying on his way. He wasn't a part of it in the first place. Something rather strange has gone on here, and I'm not quite sure what it was, but hopefully we'll get the onboards come out after this. Obviously I've watched this live on stream now. I'm going to be waiting for that footage to come in. I will be looking at that because that looked ridiculous, and I want to get to the bottom of what happened there. So please, those with footage, send it in and we'll get to the bottom of this. Totally Zero in the meantime, running in second place here, has got a driver trying to unlap himself here. Tunde looking down the inside into turn 1, obviously knows that Totally Zero has got damage, I assume. And Totally Zero keeping it there, keeping it in P2. Fury trying to attack on the back here of Totally Zero now and get himself into second place. And what a drive it'd be from Fury from the back of the grid when you consider the early troubles that he had. And he made such seamless progress through the pack, and he's now looking on the back of Totally Zero here. Totally Zero defending the inside as they come through into turn 5. Parking his car in the right places there as they now come through onto the back straight here. Can Fury get a bit of a run here down the back straight here and make a move here? As Totally Zero now defending the inside. Fury's got a better straight line speed there, looking around the outside. Has he got the grip to go all the way around him here? Totally Zero defending the inside, but Fury's going to get him alongside there, gets a little bit onto the grass there, but Fury's going to have the inside for the right-hander and gets the move done there, up into second place. And Totally Zero couldn't keep him behind any longer. And Totally Zero, my heart honestly bleeds for him at this point, because he just has been robbed of the chance to defend from COD Lungu there for the race win. In the meantime though, we've got to give props to COD Lungu because he's driven absolutely superbly. Took pole position in qualifying, has been probably the quickest, I'd say, alongside Fury in this race, and COD Lungu here taking his second win of the season here in Tier 2 for the final round of Season 4. What a superb job here. Looking forward to seeing him next season hopefully he can be here for every round and maybe put forward a championship challenge here for Tier 2. Fury there over in second place, had a Totally Zero who comes over in third. But Codling, who's a driver who definitely belongs in Tier 1, and with a season in Tier 2 next season, a full season, he should be able to get promotion there into Tier 1. But Shelton nonetheless takes P4. Lexi Mate and Gary have already finished a lap down in P10 and 11. Chris has come over to take 12th place. Tunde 2 laps down in 14th place. Snoopy's just coming through into the final section now, into the chicane, and he'll be taking P5. Totally Zero. Oh man, crying emojis there in the comments. I'm not surprised, mate. That was just outrageous. You were caught up in a perfect storm there. You had 2 lapped cars trying to lap 2 other lapped cars. So you had cars that were a lap down and 2 laps down, all in a cluster basically. The podium's cursed for me. He says it definitely is. Snoopy there taking P5 with Spur Time over in 6th place. And Spur Time, congratulations to him, because he has just taken the Tier 2 championship here at Motive Racing for Season 4 with a P6, as I said. And I said it earlier on, Jill Silverman obviously hadn't got the points that he said he had in the standings, because obviously he actually didn't finish at Donington, so he shouldn't have scored points there. But Spur Time, congratulations to you, mate. What a season you've had here, been so consistent, and Spur Time is your Tier 2 GT3 champion here at Motive for Season 4. Well done to him. Our man in the number 144 Aston Martin with a superb job, and we'll be racing in Tier 1 next season as well. And guys, stick around for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to fill the championship standings in, and then I'll be able to tell you who's got the promotion spots into Tier 1 for next season. The top 6 will all get promotion spots. So give me 2 minutes and I'm going to get this filled in, and I'll read out the situation. Right guys, just want to update everybody on the championship. So spare time, the champion of Tier 2, but joining him in Tier 1 next season will be Snoopy and Remster, the two DGR teammates, as well as Jill Silverin and Erico and Carl Marley picking up the final promotion spots. Carl Marley nabbing the final promotion spot by 8 points ahead of Chris, who finished in 7th place with a great season. Also narrowly missing out Sharka Zulu and Totally Zero and Fierce Mars, who were within 20 points, all of them, of getting a spot in Tier 1. But guys, we'll be back very shortly with the Tier 1 stream, so stick with us or join us on the new stream, because we'll be going live in a few moments time for that. So yeah, see you in a moment.